Welcome to this week's 52 Circles video, and our prompt this week is layers. So I've just had a rummage through the scrap fabric box and I've just found different weights of fabric, little offcuts that I can use for this week's, and I've got my base circle. To start with, I'm going to add some layers of paint and ink. So this is just some acrylic paint mixed with textiles kind of printing medium to give it a bit of body. And I'm using an old plastic kind of debit card to just scrape that across the surface of all of the fabrics. Next, I'm going over the top with some Quink ink, which I love using, with a dry brush, and I'm just tickling at the surface of the fabric because I don't want it to be kind of too heavy. Once those have dried, and I've dried them by ironing them in between some calico because I'm not very patient, so I want them to dry quickly, I'm just offering them up and layering them to see which effects I like over the top of each other. So some of the fabrics are quite sheer, like a polyester voile. The embroidery anglaise obviously got holes in it so you can see bits through. There's a muslin piece there that I'm just holding, so that's quite an open weave. So I'm just seeing kind of how they look on top of each other or underneath, which bits I want to kind of reveal or obscure. And I'm just going to secure those in place with a couple of pins and then add some stitching. So the stitching here is kind of partly functional, so some little kind of stab stitches like last week just to hold layers together. And then I'm using some machine weight thread to just echo the brush marks that I made with the ink. So I'm just very deliberately kind of layering those over the top in a different direction and just building up areas of that, leaving some bits with the ink exposed but making the thread quite dense in other areas to really build up that kind of tonal contrast, and just getting lost in the stitching and enjoying creating that, kind of keep sitting back from it, seeing whether or not the balance is right, whether I want to add more. Finally, just giving it a good brush to get rid of any kind of obviously cut edges. I want it to kind of look more integrated than that. Apologies for my appalling filming here. I will get better at these as the 52 weeks goes on. So I'm going to end with some close-up shots so that you can see the effect of the different layers of fabric and the stitching showing through. And I really look forward to seeing yours shared on Instagram with the hashtag 52circles.